Hello, it's Joshua Johnson here, and today we're going to learn how to model 3D objects in Cinema 4D. Whether you're using it for a film, importing it to a game, or etc. If you're importing it to a game, keep low on polygons, and I'll teach you how to count your polygons easier in Cinema 4D. So let's get started now. We're going to model the TT-33. It's a Russian pistol. Really simple, really easy to model. I'm not going to use the texture right there, because if you use textures from the actual owner, like the manufacturer of the gun, then you'll have to license it if you're publishing it to a game. So we're just going to take that texture out and put it in a wooden texture, just to stay copyright clear. So let's get started. You want to go to theblueprints.com, the-blueprints.com. Look for a blueprint that you want to model. Today we're going to model the TT-33 like I said before, and you just right click on it and save it. But to get it in full resolution, you need to sign up and make sure if it is a gun that it has a side view and a top view. It has to have at least both of those, because if it doesn't have both of those, then your gun will come out really boxy and it won't look like a real version. So let's get started. You're going to need Photoshop and Cinema 4D, and if you want to import it to a game, your game engine. So let's head into Photoshop. There might be different parts of the tutorial where I just fast forward it, because this is a very time consuming thing to do, especially if you want to do a really complex object. I'm using a pistol just because it's so small and it doesn't have as much detail as someone normally would see it as. Alright, so we're in Photoshop. Go to File, Open, and then look for your look for where you save the image, the blueprint. Open it. Alright, let me just zoom in here. And there we go. What you're gonna want to do is pretty much cut out each part of the blueprint. So in this case I'm only using the side view, which is right here, and the top view, so I won't need this or the front view or the back view or the left view. Even though if you use all of them, your model will come out a lot more accurate. Accurate? I meant to say accurate. But anyway, go to View and then click New Guide. You're gonna have to create a couple of these. So first let's create the horizontal ones. Click horizontal, then press OK. You want to drag these blue lines here. They're gonna start at the top if they're vertical, and drag it to the last pixel that you see that is in the top view. Make it as precise as possible. There. And just repeat until you've made a box around every blueprint that you want to use for Cinema 4D. Remember, they have to be individual. So you have to have a top view, a side view, and well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Unless you're modeling like a car or something. Alright, so now that you're done creating the guides, you're going to want to create a new document for each image that you want to pull out of here. So we're going to create a side document and a top document. So new, you have to make sure it is the same, well, it has to be at least as big as the width for this one. So make it into a square, just to be sure, because Cinema 4D does not work good with rectangles. I don't know why, but it's really glitchy. The scaling's off and everything. So this one's high resolution, so I'm gonna make it 4096 by 4096 pixels, and we're gonna name this top. So next, just drag this out like that. Click the rectangular marquee tool and drag along those blue lines. It'll just snap to it and make it much easier. After that, right click, layer via copy, and then just drag it onto here. That's all you have to do. Make sure you don't drag it to the center, because I'll tell you that later. Anyway, make a new document, side view, marquee tool, make sure you click this, click the window to select it, and click background, because if you just right click and copy like this, it'll say there's nothing in it because you have the wrong layer selected. So just click the background, layer via copy, drag it in. Remember not to drag it to the middle. So we're gonna exit out of this because we don't need this anymore, and we're gonna go here. Now we're gonna create two guides, a horizontal and a vertical guide for each document. Basically, our goal is to put them in the very middle of our entire image. It'll snap into the middle, so that's when you know it's in the middle. Right there. See how it's snapping? That's why I said don't put your picture in the middle, because it'll snap to the picture instead of the middle. New guide, vertical. Snap to the middle, and then do not move this with the crosshair. That crosshair right there, that one, do not move it with that because you'll mess your scaling up. Move the picture without you moving the crosshair, and move the crosshair into the middle. It'll snap automatically, just like that. Repeat for this image. Vertical, snap, horizontal, snap, and then move your image without moving the crosshair. Bam. There we go. Alright, now what you're gonna do is just click Control S on both of them. Save them as PSD formats, and save them to where, actually I make a folder because there's gonna be a lot of files in here, so I made a folder called TT33, and it's a folder inside of my game, but we'll get more into that later. Just save it, save the other one, save it, and we don't need Photoshop anymore. So now let's head on to Cinema 4D. I might pause it here because it takes a minute to load.